Good morning once again. My name is June. I am in Jamaica. How are you? You are operating in autopilot mode. Those were the words of my waking thought, March 19, 2023. You are operating in autopilot mode. I didn't know exactly what these words of my thought meant, but I did a self-check. Oh yes, I did a self-check. And guess what? I indeed was in autopilot mode. Have you ever existed in that mode? Can you relate to the message? Man, it was quite an interesting awakening, a revelation. You see, for the past 3 years, it seems like I lived in a bubble. I lived my life in a bubble. No real plans were executed, no deep thought processes, no feeling that I had to do this, I had to do that. Nothing seemed real. I was just existing. No basis, no foundations were set, no anything new. I was just operating. And that was that was very bad. Not that I know that I was in that mode, I didn't know I was in that mode. But yeah, I was. Yes, I go to work. I did what I had to do, just being there. But as far as the thought process and the rationale for doing many things, I put no real effort. I just did what I had to do. Yes, I go to work. Yes, I pay the bill. That's it. No social gathering except for going to funerals and maybe 1 or 2 times when I would go out with some friends. And basically, just to be there. Just to be there. I was not interested in what was going on. I felt no real desire to be there. But I just go. Autopilot. I just go. And that was not good. Yes, during this time, I read several books. And not because it meant anything really to be reading. I just like to read. And so I was reading. I made some notes. You might see me looking down, but it's okay. I love to read. Hence it occurred without consciously deciding to read any book at all. But apart from reading the books, I realized that I always try to be one of the characters of the story. And guess what? These characters seem to have had it together. And here I was being that character, and I had no drive forward. So for the story, I was the character. But outside of that, no, I was in autopilot mode. There was no real drive. In this mode, you do stuff effortlessly, more like setting your car in the autopilot mode and just letting the road carry you. And no, you are not aware that you're in this mode, I was not aware that I was in this mode. I just didn't have that drive. That drive was missing, and then you just go. You just living. I was just living. And certainly, no, I was not aware that I was off. I was not. No one knew. And if they even knew, they didn't tell me. No one knew. So I was just there, operating in this mode. I guess COVID has a lot to do with it, The skies were empty. Just this solemnness, this emptiness. It just takes you. You look outside and even the doors of the churches were closed. You just felt like, if there is any coming back of God, as we learn it in our culture, then we would say at that time, God came. It was such immense sadness. We speak of immense joy, but that was a sad time, a dark time. And I think that many persons, that period puts us in a autopilot mode. I do think so. And I'm not going to get up here and say to you, God mercies kept me just for word's sake. No, I am saying to you that God mercies kept me. And that is exactly what I mean. During this dark period, this lonesome times of COVID and people dying and no visit and nowhere to go, God mercies kept me. It kept me because I can't say I kept myself. There was no one to see. No one was visiting. It was just your household. You went out there and everybody just moving like zombies. No closeness, no contact. It was just a lonely, lonely, lonely time. And we, we would be going through the many valleys of the shadows of many things. Everything at that time seems to be a valley of shadow of something. I've gone through the valley of the shadow of. I've gone through the valley of the shadow of. You know, it was just so many valleys of shadows of, and a very lonely time. So I am not going to get up here and say, oh, God mercies kept me, so I won't let go and all of that. No, that's caressing the words and massaging them so that they feel good. But I am saying it because there's nothing else to say. God mercies kept me. God mercies kept me. I am sure of that because it was such a lonely time. It was time now for a communing as friends with friends. That's the time that you had to dig deep for the God within you. So having that message brought to my spirit, I decided now to take action. The words were, you are in autopilot mode. Yeah, you are operating in autopilot mode. And it was this year, 2023, that those words came. COVID was 2020. A lot happened. And then we have to, put a lot of coping mechanisms in place. And we're doing a lot of stuff by ourselves. So, activating so many coping mechanisms. You cope with the death of parent, the death of this one, the non-communication from that one. So you activate many coping mechanisms. Yeah, so having that message brought to my spirit, I decided to take action. I was at work, I was at work in February. And the pain, oh boy, I was going through some excruciating knee pain, very bad. And I had to leave work and to check with my doctor. And so I went, I got treated, and after that treatment, a couple of days, I noticed some change even in my mood and my affect. I was at a better place. And my head, my thoughts seems to be coming now, good thoughts, introspections and all of that. The pain was not as severe. It was slowly dissipating. And I was like, oh man, pain can really distort your very thoughts. I realized a few days after this treatment regime that my mindset had changed. I began to, observe that my house was not being kept. It was, you're going through the daily things, but when you look around, you're like, no, this space doesn't reflect me. This place was strange, or I was a stranger in this place. My closet was overwhelmed with items that should have made it to the Christmas basket or box at the Salvation Army. The refrigerator had so much junk items. Seems like when I go to the store, I go to the section of the store that had all the things that were contrary. Those things were not representing healthy living. And I had all of that. I made it to the scale, and what I saw on that scale was nothing good. It just was not good. I don't know how to say it. I had shopped these items like a crazy person, or the crazy person I had become. And no. It was very bad. And so, armed with the knowledge of my operating mode, autopilot, I began to slowly change many things. I start to, bring things back to the normal that I knew, the culture of my household. My friends, it was an early state of mental illness. Most persons go through this phase without realizing that, we are slipping. It seems that we are doing okay in our own eyes and in the eyes of our friends and family. But until someone tells you that, hey, you are off, or, as in my case, the Lord revealed it to me, that, hey, girl, you need to get up now. You have been in autopilot mode. I have kept you in that mode. And now it's time to change gear. Now it's time to wake up, to arise, to put your shoulder to the wheel, to live. So I tell you, that you will slip away. You will slip away. So ask your friends and family to check on you, to assess you quite often, to check on your behavior, to check on whether you are carrying out your activities of daily living. Failure to take care of yourself, to have your hair done, to just have your normal personal hygiene in check. Failure to do that is an early sign that you're slipping. Yes, you're slipping. You probably just go to the bathroom, you take your basic shower and all of that for days. You don't do your hair, your nails ain't done. If you're a person who does nail, you're just not bringing yourself in the way you should. So ask friends and family to check on you. I believe that in my own situation, the pain and the passing of loved ones to COVID and the coping mechanisms which I chose to activate by myself, yes, I was not diagnosed with anything or went for counseling in the trying times. And so I activated maybe some coping mechanisms that were contrary to what should have been in my best interest. And these coping mechanisms, maybe they all contributed, to me subconsciously operating on the mundane plane in the autopilot mode. My friends, I hope this message blesses you. And if it resonates with you, do something about it. So I say, thank you for watching my video up to this point. Yes, thank you for staying with me. I'm sending you love, much love from Jamaica. Please share this video if you can and help me on this journey. Have a blessed day.